Do you know the guy that one Christmas when I came home who does like nostalgic movies, or he does like funny stuff on YouTube?
Which guy? I watched like so many of those.
Or Mary loves him and she thinks he's like really, really funny, nostalgic critic.
That's who I like.
Okay, then you introduced me to him.
Yeah.
He did this movie.
Oh, I know. He did last year.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched that in a while though.
Oh my God. I was cracking up to it. He is so extra, and I did not know he was really into the story, the Christmas Carol story. So I learned some things.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'll add some snippets of that.
Okay, from the YouTuber review or the actual facts?
Well, I got both, Kate.
Okay.
I got multi-hats.
Yeah.
But his, I thought there was a couple from his that I think when we go through it, I'll like pull up memories of some of the things that I found like really interesting.
He did a really funny video, and it wasn't the Muppet Christmas Carol, but there was like another Muppet Christmas something special, and at the beginning of it they like did this like little skit where they had a Kermit the Frog puppet, and they were showing clips of like Michael Caine, of like an interview where it was like, Michael Caine, how are you such a good actor? And then he's like weirdly talking about like his acting style, and like he says like really weird things, and then the Kermit the Frog is like, what do you mean? And they're just obviously making fun of that interview, but oh my God, it was so funny.
Oh,
so
I love that.
I think of that now. And yeah, Michael Caine, what?
Sisters, sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters, sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
Hi there!
It's in the singing of the streets and the choir.
Ooh!
In a warm by the fire. It's true whenever you find love.
Feels like
Christmas.
Christmas.
Okay,
The
I'm gonna keep going.
season of the heart.
I was trying to think if there's a song where they start off with like, hey, or hello, and now we just kind of start singing. So, yep.
Yeah, I don't know, Kate, and obviously we're singing the Muppets, but who are we, Kate? Who are we to sing the Muppets?
We are not Muppets. We are not Michael Caine. Sorry, but don't worry, we're other people. So, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And there's so many songs in this movie. Let's think of another song.
Light the candle, not the rat!
Oh, that's... well, that's not a song, but that's a great line. And I am here for the food. Thank you. Yeah, Rizzo is, like me in this movie. I am Rizzo in this movie. Gotta say. Wow. And Bridge, what is our movie this week?
The 1992 hit, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
It is a hit.
Ooh.
It's a hit in my heart.
Ooh. This is, when it first came out, wasn't as, I don't know, loved as it is now. And people love it, like cult following love it, or just can't care for it. And I went into a lot of the backstory of this because this was the first Jim Henson film after he died.
Yeah, they say that in the credits.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I know. But wasn't it his son who directed it and all that?
It was his son, and
Okay.
they had like one of the famous producers that have always worked with Jim Henson, and they had Paul Williams do the music, and I went down the rabbit hole on Paul Williams, and it just seemed to be a very like emotionally like loving film. Like everybody was just happy to be there and just like thinking of Jim Henson, and I feel like now when I watch it and I think of some of those things, I was like, oh, this is so sweet and touching.
It is the season of the heart.
Oh,
Message,
we don't know any
something
other words.
caring.
We'll keep singing the same song.
There are a lot more songs in this movie, by the way. But maybe I'll remember them better as we go through. So
I'm fearful it's my turn for a synopsis. Is that what's happening?
I think you did the last two in a row. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sing every song in sequence, and then you guys can just kind of get the context, because the songs kind of do explain things.
They do the work.
I'm just kidding. I won't do that. So, Muppet Christmas Carol. Well, it's just like what it sounds like, listeners.
That's it. Good synopsis.
Yeah. You ever read a book? That's the movie. Okay, so we start off in, I don't know what time or wherever, but we're in England and London, I think. And it's old times. And very quickly we're like, hey, there's a bunch of Muppets and people. So that's kind of what we're working with. It's just a mix, and that's normal, and go team. And we right away meet the, I guess, narrators of the movie, which are played by Gonzo and Rizzo, which, honestly, golden choice. Let's be honest.
You see Gonzo, and it's like, Gonzo as Charles Dickens, and you're thinking, no, that's not good. He nails it!
Oh, he's great. He's great. And he wore a hat the whole time, so that's cool.
He never blinked either. Did you know? He was very like Elizabeth Holmes.
And
where
like,
he had these like bright eyes.
Ulrich from Scream, who was the murderer. So what does that tell you?
I don't know.
Yes. So he does a good job, and he's still Gonzo, so there's still kind of Gonzo-esque jokes and references, which I love. That's what I love about the Muppets, because I feel like all the characters like stick to their characters, but then they kind of mesh into all these different stories and retellings and whatever. And Rizzo is not a character. I don't know. Rizzo is like me, like teleported in time, and I'm like, I don't know, now I'm here with the Muppets, and like I guess I'll just like make random commentary and eat some snacks along the way. So hooray. Okay, so they're the narrators, and we learn, oh my gosh, there's this guy that everybody freaking hates. His name is Ebenezer Scrooge. He's played by Michael Caine, who just, well, boy, I mean, he takes this role very seriously. He does not.
Are you? I'm a little shocked. I thought like people love him. Are you kind of on the fence about his acting in this?
I love how he takes it seriously.
Okay. Because I thought he was incredible.
No, he was great. Okay. He was really good. But like, it's just funny because again, you hear the concept of Muppets, and I think, I don't know, a lot of people might assume like, it's just gonna like, who's gonna be that serious? But like, this is like a very acting heavy role, and he does do a good job. And so he's Ebenezer. So he's grouchy. There goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Scrooge. Something. That's a song. I'm not going to sing the rest. But basically, everybody fucking hates him because he's a jerk.
Definitely.
And he's like a landlord or something. And he like...
Bank.
Is it a bank or a landlord?
Well, the bank gives you a mortgage. So he's like, if people don't pay things, he's like, evict them. And...
Oh.
I mean, that's what I thought. But
I
can check this. Keep going.
They don't like cash my checks? Like, if I go to him to cash a check, he's gonna be like, get the fuck out of my face?
I guess I understand what you're saying. He's not really a bank. Keep going. This is not important.
Well, anyway, so he sucks, and it's Christmas Eve, and he's like, wow, I'm gonna work, and I fucking hate everyone. Stupid. Then we meet Kermit, and Kermit plays Bob Cratchit, who is like, I don't know what he does exactly, because I don't know what Scrooge does, but he works for Scrooge, and Bob Cratchit's a really nice guy. Oh, Scrooge is a money lender. Okay, sure. I guess that's kind of like a bank. So
whatever.
All right. Anyway.
Kermit's better. Let's go back to Kermit.
It's all fine. So Bob Cratchit is a really nice guy. Always got like a smile, and he's like really calm and level-headed. He's like, hey, Scrooge, happy Christmas Eve. It's really cold and everything's wrong. Could we get more coal? And he's like, no! And then he's like, okay, great. Thanks anyway. I'll go sit over here and keep working. You're like, wow, Bob Cratchit. And you come to just see a bunch of like random people coming to visit, and Scrooge continues to be rude, and things are rude. Hooray. The day is done, and then Bob Cratchit's like, hey, Scrooge, just as a reminder, for the 8th time, I'm telling you today, it's Christmas Eve, which means tomorrow's Christmas, which means like, why would we go to work? And Scrooge is like, what? And he's like, come on, everyone's gonna be closed, which again, I'm kind of like, hasn't this come up before in the past? I don't know. Does Scrooge have amnesia? Perhaps. We don't know. Anyway, so Bob Cratchit basically negotiates, and he gets the day off. Hooray for all. What a day. And then Scrooge is like, ugh, whatever, bye. And he freaking leaves. And then they sing a song about, there's only one more sleep till Christmas. That's a bop. Okay, so then he goes home. Whatever, we don't really see him for a while. And then we see Scrooge. He goes to his house. It's dark and scary and cold. And this is where the movie gets a little spoopy. I gotta say, a little scary. Yeah. And his doorknob has a face, which used to terrify me as a little kid. Fun fact.
Very labyrinth.
Yeah, it is very labyrinth.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and the puppets too. And so then he gets visited by his dead partners, who were the Marley brothers, and they are dead ghosts, and they sing a song about how they're Marleys, and that Scrooge is gonna go to hell.
Or Marley!
Or Marley and Marley! Whoa!
Which is like,
okay.
if you think of that movie with the dog, like Marley and Me, it's like the names just, it's to me, they're evil. They're evil guys.
Yeah.
It's not like the nice, wholesome dog, folks. Don't let them fool you.
No, they're scary and they're ghosts. So then Scrooge is like, what? Oh no, what do you mean? And they're like, you're gonna get visited by 3 ghosts and you better take some notes and learn some stuff today.
You're gonna learn.
You're gonna learn tonight, Scrooge. And he's like, oh no. And then he does. He gets visited by, first it's this freaking ghost. I wrote, this is the nightmare fuel ghost because this first one would make me scream bloody murder. But Scrooge is like, oh my god, yo, what's up, little creepy dead ghost child girl?
I don't like it.
That floats and has no legs, but you have creepy fingers, and I don't like it. And your eyes are scary. Anyway, this is a ghost of Christmas past. So then she's like, yo, we're gonna go fly around London. Let's do it. And this is the only time Scrooge gets to fly, so that's cool, I guess. And they fly back in time, as you do.
Yeah.
And he goes and he looks at his child and he's like, oh, I was so sad. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, wow. And now I'm young adult and then I fell in love, but I'm like stingy or something. And you're like, uh-huh. And he's like, now I'm single and sad. And you're like, okay. And then she's like, anyway, I hope you learn stuff. Gotta go. And you're like, what? Then he gets the second ghost come to visit. And it's the ghost of present day? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy's very jolly, and honestly, he kind of looks like Santa Claus.
Who's the dude from Harry Potter?
Hagrid. Oh, yeah.
He gave me some Hagrid vibes.
He is like Hagrid, and he kind of acts like him, too. And he sings the song, Feels Like Christmas, and then Scrooge does a weird dance with him, and it's a great day.
Oh, my God. Google that dance.
And the lesson we learn is you need to sing and dance around in public more. That's the lesson Scrooge should learn. But he also then gets to see what other people are doing on Christmas present day, and he goes and sees Bob Cratchit, and he's like, wow, there's like a lot of freaking family members in this house, and they don't have a lot of money because I don't really pay them. Oh, and like the one son is literally dying and has, I think, 1 leg. Maybe he has 2 legs, but he uses a crutch. So that's great. And he's like, yeah, Tiny Tim's real sick, Scrooge. And then then you're like, oh, okay, awkward. And then we see, I don't know, I guess we see other people. Oh, we see his like nephew, and his nephew like makes fun of him, and you're like, yeah, I mean, duh. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then he's like, all right, cool, hope you learned stuff, gotta go. And now you go see a scary ghost, and this ghost is also spoopy, this part, where it's the ghost of Christmas Future, and he is pretty much like a Dementor from Harry Potter, or a ring wraith from Lord of the Rings, or just like a fucking demon from the underworld that a little girl summoned with her Ouija board. I don't know. But he's here.
He's so scary that Gonzo taps out of narrating and says, figure it out.
He's like, bye. We'll see you at the last scene, which is, I love that. So basically he shows Scrooge, okay, this is what's going to happen in the future, whatever. And then Scrooge just sees a bunch of people being like, hooray, this person's dead. And Scrooge is so fucking dumb. And he's like, oh, who could that be? Surely not me, who they all sang a song about that they hated. No, must be someone else. And he sees just a lot of that stuff. And then Tiny Tim dies. I don't know why that is connected to Scrooge also dying. It's a weird connection, but sure, we're gonna roll with it. So that's sad. And you're like, oh no, so sad. Not really sure how I can prevent that as Scrooge, but okay, sure. And then he sees a gravestone, and he's like, who could this be? Because it takes him so long. And it's Scrooge. And then he cries like a baby when he sees it. And he's like, oh no, can it change? And then the guy's like, I don't talk. Did you know that yet? And then, wow, it's the normal time again. Whoa.
But what time is it, Kate? Because what day is it?
It's Christmas day. I haven't missed it. Yeah, and then he recruits little homeless bunny character who I love.
Yes,
we'll need to talk about. And he's like, go buy a bunch of shit. Here's some money. And I'm going to dance around and sing. And I'm going to be nice to everyone now, right now. And then you're like, wow. And then they sing another song. What did they just sing the same song, or is this a different song?
We just keep repeating the same song, so...
Okay. Okay. That's probably why that one's stuck in our heads. But
oh, God.
He goes to Bob Cratchit's house, and he's like, yo, I'm raising your salary, and I'm paying off your mortgage. Now you got, like, way more money, damn. Also, here's some food. Also, I'm inviting 100 people into your little house. Here we come. Hope no one has COVID. Hooray. And then, in the end, we all sing a song, and Tiny Tim doesn't die, according to Gonzo. And that's the moral of the story, I guess. So, woo! It's a trip, gotta say.
It's a trip. I think you nailed it. I can't think of anything else to add. And I'm really excited to talk about these ghost characters as you've described them, because I wrote some weird notes and was like, these are weird looking back on these.
Yep.
Because this is probably one of the first Muppet movies that is a little more serious, but they still Muppetize it.
They do.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, one of the first Muppetizing you can see is you're kind of getting the scene of like, okay, this is like I guess winter town. It's definitely old in time. If this was a question on Jeopardy about like what year does this take place, I would say like, I don't know. I would say like the 90s. Like I would not get it right.
I think it was like the 1900s, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
What do I know?
Well, who cares? It's a Dickens novel and it just kind of has that vibe. And you are right. It is in London.
Well, you see like the set and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then one of the first fucking things you see is they're Muppets, technically, of sentient vegetables who are like, oh no, don't steal me, I'm getting stolen. And then it's like humans are stealing it. And that's not even like a focus point in that scene. That's like a background. And,
okay, but this town, there is no one species. You have humans, you have Muppet vegetables, you have Muppet pigs, you have Muppet birds, you have Muppet raps, you have every possible animal known to man, and we all just live harmoniously, and it's kind of like lovely. And nobody acknowledges anybody. There is no hierarchy. The only person that considers this hierarchy is Scrooge, and the whole town hates him for it.
And they sing a song about how much they hate him. And I mean,
which is kind of cool. I was like, this seems like a cool town.
Yeah.
They're all just trying to like chill around Christmas and not work. Like, okay.
I feel like the vibe was like, hey, we're all poor, except for that guy. So that's why we did our Monday night chorus rehearsals about
he's like,
how to hate Scrooge.
He's like the Jeff Bezos in town. Everyone's like, oh.
Honestly, I'm amazed we don't have our own song about Jeff Bezos and how he sucks. We could probably adapt this one.
There's definitely a song about Jeff Bezos.
Change the words or something. But there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grim or Scrooge or Mean or I don't know. And they just all basically give you exposition where they're like, he charges folks a fortune to live in draft and broken houses, something.
I wrote,
you're like, that sounds illegal.
I wrote, even the vegetables don't like him.
Even the vegetables don't like him. Those sentient vegetables.
And then I wrote, oh, this is basically a deep psychological song about why Scrooge sucks. Now, Kate, I'm going to take you back because this is where the Paul Williams comes in. Okay, so Paul Williams wrote all the songs. Okay, Paul Williams is super duper famous songwriter and he had worked with Jim Henson forever. But there was a period in time where he was like a major drug addict, alcoholic.
Oh.
So before this movie, he like basically had this like massive 10-year span bender where he tried to like hang on to his music career, but like slowly kind of fell off the circle or the cycle, went to rehab, and then basically once he like came back and was like, I'm sober, I want to work again, Jim Henson dies 2 months later. And so when they started to pick this film, they thought of him to do the music. And he like related to Scrooge because I read that he met Michael Caine and he was like, nice to meet you. And Michael Caine's like, we met multiple times, like gambling in this, whatever. And he was like, And Paul Williams was like, oh my God, I was like an addict. I'm the worst. So when he wrote all these songs, some of them are kind of intense because he was recovering in his like own life and he felt like this connection to Scrooge.
So you think when he wrote Mr. Humbug, he was just staring at a mirror?
Yeah.
He's like, there goes Mr. Humbug. Brush your stupid teeth. Good. Oh my God. Wow.
But because if you listen to some of the lyrics, especially the Scrooge one, you're like, damn, like they're a little, like for Muppets being like, la 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 la, like they say some pretty intense stuff.
Well, yeah, a lot of them are like, we don't care if he dies, hooray! And you're like, oh my. But then you get a joke about the vegetables, being like, we don't like them either. And you're like, vegetables talking, that's silly.
Yeah, so I had to give you that because I thought, wow, that is just, it's really fascinating. And that was part of how, like, you had this, wow, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So then when you got to, like, the good songs and the happy songs, it was like, oh my God, this is for Jim Henson, and we're all working together, and we're all happy. And then Michael Caine, like, was really into acting this movie and, like, loves this movie. So... yeah, but the music does a good job, actually similar to A Nightmare Before Christmas, where we don't remember them enough like a Goofy movie where I'm waiting for the one song.
Yeah.
It moves the plot along.
Yes.
Like it gets us like moving and you don't need to say as much or do these storylines because it's like, we got it. Right. And we've moved on.
Well, that's like that first song. You're like, oh, okay, here's all the reasons why Scrooge sucks.
Yeah.
And then you see a little bit more of him being a jerk, basically, when he gets to his job, and the first thing that happens is there's a guy there who's there to talk about his mortgage. I think this is why I was like, is Scrooge a landlord? Because I don't know your job description, sir. And then Scrooge just kind of throws him out in the street, and I think that's
literally
assault, and there are definitely police officers in this town, because I saw a dog dressed as one, so I'm not really sure what, the law is here, but
okay, also, at this time, the Muppets, like, puppeteers, they use CGI. This is, like, one of the first type
in
of
this
films.
movie?
Well, so, like, all the puppeteers had those, like, green suits.
Yeah.
So that's why you could, like, have a scene of, like, Kermit's whole body, like, dancing.
Like ice skating and stuff, yeah.
By himself. So it's not like the puppets are never CGI, but the people, like, mimicking them.
Okay.
So I'm, like, laughing, thinking about Michael Caine, like, talking to this Muppet, and then having to, like, take the body and chuck it out the door, and you're just thinking, I don't know, the whole thing is he never made you think he was dealing with Muppets.
Yeah.
He just made you think
right.
He was just dealing with people, and I was like, that's, like, a gift, because the way he's talking to even Kermit, imagine having, like, 6 people around Kermit. That would be so distracting.
Honestly, I feel that way for a lot of Muppet movies, where a lot of, like, the human actors just, I don't know, it doesn't seem like they're acting with puppets. It just seems like it's...
I guess that's their job, but I'm amazed by it.
I guess.
But he literally was like, send this guy's eviction notice tomorrow, and Kermit's like, once again, Scrooge, it's Christmas, so
Scrooge,
bro.
I wrote you a letter about this.
We talked about this in the employee team meeting last week. But yeah, eviction notice, and somebody wants to see if he'll donate money, and he basically says, no, we should kill people.
Oh my God, it's so awkward. And then the guys like awkwardly stand there and they're like, so about that donation. And I was like, did y'all just see the guy get thrown out of the door? Because there was assault. So be careful.
All I wrote was, Scrooge is extra.
He really is. And I love this part because at some point Gonzo and Rizzo like sneak in, like, because they're just kind of always around, whatever. Yeah. And they were outside, and then there's like little jokes about that, and then they sneak inside. And this is where Scrooge's nephew, Fred, comes in. And Fred is played by a human, and Fred fucking comes in with the energy, let me tell you.
Love him.
He is energetic. He's like, woo! Christmas Eve! Here's a wreath! And then Scrooge is like, what the fuck, do you know me? What's happening?
Okay, so Fred had the energy I wrote of Kathy Najimy from Sister Act.
Amazing.
He was like, everything's wonderful! And then, like, Scrooge is like, I hate you, die. And he's like, I love you, uncle! You're like, what? He tried to take his wreath and break it in half. Like, yikes, sir.
Too much. Well, at one point, Rizzo is like listening in, and Scrooge does something where he's like, God, Fred, I don't know why you're so happy when you're so poor. And then he's like, well, you're super rich, and you're like a cranky guy or whatever. And then Rizzo goes, he's got him there. The old boy's speechless. And then they just, I don't know, somehow they just talk about Christmas and then whatever.
But even Fred is like, hey, I know you just insulted me for 20 minutes, but why don't you come over for dinner tomorrow?
And if you don't come over, I'm going to make fun of you during charades. So you pick. You decide your fate.
When everybody makes jokes about like that uncle coming to the holiday feast, Fred's like, Scrooge, you're it and you're invited. See you there.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh
like,
my God.
If they didn't have Thanksgiving, then yeah, I mean, we're going to get them. Okay, so then Scrooge goes, he closes the door, and then immediately you hear the little homeless bunny start singing by itself, and I don't even know what he's singing. He's just singing some random song, and Scrooge like loses his fucking mind. And he, like, opens the door. He's like, what do you want? And the bunny's like, a penny? And then Scrooge is like, whoa. He, like, throws a wreath at him, which, again, I'm like, this is a second assault in, like, an hour. So, where are the
Very
plates?
violent. Very violent. God. Yes.
Not good.
But, like every terrible boss, once he leaves, the rest of the employees are like, hip, hip, hooray! They'll, like, dance around when he's gone. And they're like, closing up, and la, la, la.
I literally wrote that. I was like, wow, everybody's celebrating now that the boss is gone. It's time to sing a song. Hooray. It's like, I can relate to that. Oh, man. And this is there's only one more sleep till Christmas. And that's cute.
Yeah, super cute.
And I wrote, what did I write? Oh, I go, everyone's got a fun top hat. I guess they all wore top hats at some point. I don't know.
They wore top hats. They watched penguins ice skating. Kermit just got in there and did a little ice skating himself.
So knowing that there was some CGI things, that explains that part, because you're kind of like,
it was weird.
Why are we watching these penguins that don't have names or speaking roles do ice skating for a minute or two?
Okay, so then this is my nostalgic critic comment that I think he said was so funny. He's like, this scene literally looks like a McDonald's commercial. And he put the like McDonald's logo and Kermit like staring at the stars. Oh my God. And like ice skating.
To like sell a little Happy Meal toy or something.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah. It's weird. And then you sing that like there's like, it's so funny, we're ice skating and everyone's having a great time and Bob Cratchit has off tomorrow and life is good. And then you literally see for like 5 seconds a fucking scene of the little bunny sad and cold and homeless in a dumpster in the snow. And then the music kind of like cuts out and you're like, wow, how do I feel right now? How should I feel right now, Muppets? Because I was just ice skating having a good time and now I see sad bunny and I don't know how to feel. Someone help. And then they're like, anyway, moving on to Scrooge now. Keep that plot going. I was like, okay, well.
And Kate, this is the scene that scared you because
this is scary.
Jacob Marley comes to the door.
And he just goes, woo! Which, in retrospect, I guess isn't that scary. But it's freaky when you go to reach for a door handle and it turns into a face. I don't want to touch that. No.
Yeah. But it disappears. So Scrooge is like, okay, I'm losing it. I gotta go upstairs and eat some cheese, and have a charcuterie board.
He does. He has his own charcuterie board. This is where he's wearing those pajamas, which...
Oh my God, with the nightcap?
It's Schitt's Creek, where the very first episode ever of Schitt's Creek, where the dad is like, hey guys, good night, going to bed. And he's like literally dressed in that same outfit. And David's like, all right, what are you gonna see the ghosts of Christmas Past tonight?
Really?
It's like, say hi to Bob Cratchit for me.
Oh my God,
Oh my God, it's so funny. So now I just think of Schitt's Creek with that, even though it was parodying Christmas Carol. But anyway, so he is chilling, eating his charcuterie board in like the dark, by the way. Like, I think there's only the fireplace is on or something. And I guess that's fun, but like, I don't know. Seems kind of quiet and weird.
It does seem weird.
I don't know. It's strange. And then he hears like the doorbell, I think, ring. I don't know what that bell was, but it was a bell because they don't have real doorbells in whatever time period we're in right now, which I still don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like a doorbell. And then all I thought about is, can't you just look out the window and see if anyone's there? But instead he was like very perplexed. And then very quickly we see ghosts.
Yeah, they just appear in the little staircase and they're like laughing. So you're kind of like, again, am I afraid or am I gonna laugh? I don't know. Scrooge isn't screaming. So how do I feel as a kid? Yeah. And it's those two old guy Muppets, which I don't know their Muppet names, but they're a treat.
Oh my God. I don't know either. And I'll keep looking. Just keep going.
I love how they picked them because I actually think in the original story it was not like brothers. I think it was just one guy.
Oh, yes. I don't know their Muppet name, but people gave like a lot of shit that like they created another brother than
who
Dickens
cares?
script. And I'm also like, I don't care.
Yeah, like who cares? Whatever. But like I thought it was funny because personality wise, you're like, oh yeah, these are like the guys who just make fun of everyone. So I could totally believe that of all the Muppets, these are the ones who were like turned out to be evil guys.
Yeah.
And they're just making jokes about how they basically treated everyone like shit. And they're like, haha, we like evicted an orphanage and they died. Life is good. Oh yeah, we're also in hell right now, so maybe we shouldn't laugh at that. And I was like, I'm a little confused because it seems like you guys are having a good time, but you're also in hell. So the messages are a little unclear for children right now.
So confusing, and they just kept acquiring more and more chains as their song went on. So their song got happier, they got more chains, and they were basically like, a nightmare waits for you.
And then the chains at some point start singing, and I was like, sentient chains! Everything has a face and can talk to me.
But Scrooge is like, oh, I must have had some bad cheese.
Scrooge.
And this isn't real. And, you know, he just says, okay, guys, that was weird. I'm gonna go sleep in my weird tent canopy bed.
Bridget, you had one of those.
Oh my God, did I?
Yeah.
Okay, Kate, I gotta tell you.
Yes.
Though that bed was so extra that I had, like, it was like hot pink.
I remember.
Knowing my personality, why in God's name did our mother put me in like this pink canopy bed in this tiny room? And I just kept thinking, like, anytime I'd hear a scary noise, he's like stuck in this bed and he can't like see it.
No.
Like Monsters Inc. What's under the bed? I don't even know. And he just, I don't know, but that bright light, weird ghost child came and I was like, stay in the bed. This is scary. Don't go out.
I would have closed the curtain and screamed my freaking head off because that thing is so horrifying. Why did we make it look like that? It's not like a cute kid. It's like a literal kid who's possessed by a demon. That's like Exorcist kid ghost. I don't like it.
I thought it was really creepy.
At some point, I think it's like right before this, Rizzo goes, should we be worried about the kids in the audience? And then Gonzo goes, no, it's all right. This is culture.
Oh my God, Gonzo.
Which I guess maybe answers our question, but still very scary. And I freaking hate this ghost.
I was like, creepy angelic child. I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah, but okay, do you think that was a puppet or was it?
No, I think that was like
because it kind of
CGI.
like was creepy enough where I was like, maybe it was just a puppet that someone worked like really hard on. Like we had an intern and like that was their project and like, you know, it came out horrific, but like, what are we gonna do? We don't have time to redo it, so we're just gonna use it anyway.
I didn't get the facts on that. There was no article on that.
I think we should add that to the wiki page because that's honestly the only way that this terrifying monstrosity makes sense. It is so scary. I hate it. But then thankfully we don't have to stare at the demon too long because it's like, hey, let's go flying. All you gotta do is touch my hand and you're like, wow. And Gonzo,
I think this is a Bob scene.
Batman style grappling hook ready to go to what is he latch on to?
Hold on. The whole prep for this too was Rizzo being like, I'm afraid of two things, heights and heights. And then Gonzo's like, hold on. And then they fly above the city and Rizzo's like,
But like, what are they attached to? Was it like Scrooge's like leg and he didn't know? Was it the demon? We don't know because it's Muppets.
I don't know either, but somehow Scrooge is just like, it's totally fine. I have two Muppets hanging from me down below. I don't feel anything. And again, he just kind of plays it like Michael Caine does, man.
Yeah, because you're like, wow, this is, I guess, kind of majestic. But then LOL at Muppets, like ramming into building chimneys and that's funny.
Oh my God. And then the forest.
Oh my God.
Go through the forest.
I freaking love the part where they come out of the forest and they're like covered in crap and there's a chicken and Gonzo goes, Rizzo, this is Louise. Because his whole thing is he like is attracted to chickens, which is interesting.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
Oh, you didn't know that about Gonzo?
No.
He, like, dates chickens.
Wow.
Which actually is kind of weird now that I say it out loud, but, like, in the context of this movie, I was like, ha, lol.
Oh my god. But, okay, in your synopsis, you touched on, obviously, this part of they go back in time and he sees himself as a kid. I feel like what they didn't acknowledge is he seemed to have, like, a really sad childhood.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, so this was you, and you never had anything to do on Christmas, and basically your parents abandoned you, and so all you did was, like, study. But it's your fault, you're evil. I was like, I mean, was that Scrooge's fault? I don't know.
Well, and then they have Scrooge kind of do this weird dialogue where he was like, I was often alone. And then there's a scene of kids being like, hey, Scrooge, want to hang? And then he's like, get away from me! And I was like, again, Scrooge would be my friend at the lunch bunch. Be like, Scrooge, if someone asks you to hang out and you want to hang out, you gotta say yes. Okay? Don't be turning into this Ghosts of Christmas nonsense visitor, you know, when you're 89 or however old we are. Just,
Also, okay, they're like, oh, that's the dean of the school. And the guy's like, all you must do is work hard, and that's the important lesson of life. And he's like, this guy had a big impact on me. I'm like, this sounds like a very normal speech. Like, I didn't understand the big impact. Did you? Did I miss something?
I don't think there was a big impact, or if there was, it wasn't filmed. But I love, this is another great Muppet casting, because do you know which Muppet this was?
No.
What the name of him is? His name is Sam Eagle, as in like Uncle Sam, because he's supposed to be all about America. And that's where there's the part where he goes, it is the American way. And then Gonzo's like, Sam, no. And then he like whispers his ear, and then he's like, oh, I mean, it's the British way. And I was like, what the fuck? Did this happen in real life that he corrected
You nailed that
himself?
accent. That was awesome.
Oh.
But, okay, I gotta tell you, like, Scrooge was a little sensitive. He's like, no more. I can't see anymore. Like, we need to move on. And then it's like, don't worry. It's gonna get worse, because we're gonna go to which, Kate, I thought he looked hot when he was like a young man. I'm just gonna tell you. I was like, this is a good looking man.
With his pony. Did he have a ponytail?
I don't think so, but
I feel, no.
But like,
no horse
but
tail?
Fozzie, right? Is that the name of the Muppet?
He's like, this was my first job. I was like, bitch, you worked at a rubber chicken factory? Okay, bye.
but he took it way too serious, and Fozzie's like, chill out, it's the Christmas party, and he chucks whatever like work he was doing. It was like, the party! And he meets I think her name was it Belle? His like love?
Her name was Belle, like Beauty and the Beast. Hashtag tale as old as time. Song as old as rhyme. Meeting at a rubber chicken factory Christmas party. Yeah.
And he somehow, you know, for being antisocial his whole life, has a little swag, and, you know, they get together, and they're seemingly together and engaged, and you skyrocket into that relationship. And all I understood is, so he never felt like he had enough money for the wedding, and so then they broke up. That's why they broke up?
Yes.
That's the lamest thing ever.
It is lame. Now, I have a question. Where did you watch this?
Oh, I know this is a big controversy. The song was cut out of the one that I watched.
Okay, because it was cut out of the one I watched, but we used to have the VHS, and that was always on there, and I always remember hating this song and wanting to fast forward it. But the song kind of is a little more informative, because she talks about how it's not just that, like, okay, you keep, like, whatever, being like, we don't have money, blah, 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 but she talks about how, like, I'm not in love with you anymore, and it actually has gone on for a while. It's explained in song exposition, but we don't have that in this version. So then you just see her being like, you used to love me, and you're like, wait, what? And then it literally cuts to Gonzo and Rizzo is like crying hysterically, and you're like, Rizzo, chill, son, relax. But it's because Rizzo heard the sad song that we didn't hear, and
so that was a Disney exec decision, and Paul Williams was like really sad about it, and so was Brian Henson, and they were kind of mad about it, and that's how they negotiated it into the VHS tape. But I think it's missing. I don't know. Who cares? The Disney execs thought, like, this is gonna be boring for kids, but it's like, dude, who cares? Just throw in a Muppet, like throw in Rizzo falling or something in the background, like, it's fine.
You show Rizzo crying hysterically right after, which is like played for laughs, but in context is sad. But yeah, like, that's fine.
But Scrooge is like, no more, take me back. And then all of a sudden he's like back in his house, right? And then it gets to the clock strikes again. He's got a very weird clock. I don't know what is happening with that clock.
It's like, it was like an Addams Family clock with like a little version of
himself. It wasn't as cool as an Addams Family clock, but it wanted to be.
Nobody was motorboated in that clock, so
Check out that episode to learn more. But then this guy, I think, was the coolest ghost.
He was cool.
How do you say it? Hagrid?
It was like Hagrid.
And he was very funny. He had like a Dory like memory from Finding Nemo.
Oh yeah.
Where he didn't remember anything, and he just was like happy and jolly. And he kept changing sizes. At one scene he's really big, another scene he's small, and he just brings food in a feast. He's like, your cheese sucks. Look at my charcuterie board. Get in here.
And then he's like, oh my God, isn't Christmas the best? And Scrooge is like, oh, awkward. Ooh, I don't know if you know me, but like, not my thing. And then he's like, are you fucking kidding? You don't like Christmas? And then he's like, here's a song about it. And then we sang our song about Feels Like Christmas. And this is where we do weird street dancing.
But no one missed a beat. Like the whole town was like, and we have practiced this all year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
The flash mob comes into play. Yeah, this town is very talented, I gotta say.
Went with it.
There's also a really funny part where there's little children Muppets like singing, and one of them gets punched in the face. Did you see that part?
No, I didn't.
Because I hope it's like a GIF or a meme, because I'm gonna send it to you, because he makes like the funniest face.
Wait, and then how about the old ladies that like gave me some real church vibes? They're like, it is the season of the heart. I was like, oh my.
Can you just imagine if, like, as there's, like, all this dancing, in the background, you see, like, the Sister Act choir in the corner, like, Chris!
Scrooge he's a dick! Okay, but here's where I was a little, like, the arc of Scrooge. I felt like Scrooge was like, yeah, I'm having fun now, and it's Christmas Day, and I'm like, from like one flashback memory. Now, once he goes to his nephews and then he goes to Bob Cratchit, okay, I understand him starting to change his tune, because he basically got, if people want the superpower of being invisible, so you can go be anywhere and no one knows you're there, that's the superpower he got, and it wasn't good because they just kept ripping on him behind his back.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Pretty much everyone's like, he sucks, which again, I'm like, but are you surprised? Because I think your ears were working when we all sang the synchronized song about how you suck.
Yes.
So, yeah. But when we go to Bob Cratchit's house, this is where we see Miss Piggy, which again, I'm like, amazing. Amazing casting. I know she didn't audition because she's an inanimate Muppet, but like,
she did.
I love it.
But she did. Someone had to sit in a room and say, you know what? We need Miss Piggy as Emily Cratchit. And like having the daughters as little Miss Piggies and having the sons as little Kermits, brilliant.
It's so good.
And also heard she's just like cooking and she's like, oh, la, 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 la! And she does that like Miss Piggy noise. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah, and this is where you first meet Tiny Tim, and it's Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim are singing their own a cappella song down the street, and it's like bing boo boo ba beep bop chip and I was like, wow, okay, that's fun. And then everyone's like, wow, oh my God, thank God you're here. Let's have our tiny little Christmas dinner. Hooray for us. And then Bob Cratchit's like, I would like to toast to Mr. Scrooge. And then everybody's like, fuck that guy, he sucks. And then Tiny Tim's like, wait guys, I'm on my deathbed kind of. So like, whatever I say goes. And I say, we give a little toast to him. And then they're all like, oh, fine, whatever, rate him. And then that's where Scrooge is like, wow, I like this little kid because he said one nice thing about
Okay,
me.
I gotta tell you a family memory. So,
did we have a Tiny Tim
no,
that I forgot about in our family?
I made a comment like Tiny Tim at our Christmas dinner table. And I don't even know if I was being sarcastic. I don't know. I know I was young and I know I don't know. I'm just a weird person. And Jimmy ripped me to shreds. He was like, shut the hell up, Tiny Tim. And I remember being like, ah. But I feel like I got it from this movie. Like I must have watched this movie as like a little kid.
Were you like, God
yeah,
bless
I think I.
And then he's like, shut it.
Yeah. And then he like threw mashed potatoes in my ear. And I was like, cool. But whenever I see this scene, I was like, warning to anybody that is like really feeling the spirit. And if you're just like, oh wow, I feel this gratefulness, and no, I don't have one leg and I'm not dying, but I want to speak like that. Just be careful, because your brother's going to shut you the hell up, you know?
Yeah, it might not be as accepted if you're not about to die. So, like,
so
be mindful.
Yeah, so strategy.
Well, we don't stay there long because for whatever reason, from here, we then, with the same ghost, who's like the happy jolly ghost, we go to the graveyard, and Scrooge has no questions about why we're going to this hellish graveyard. He's like, yeah, cool, this happy ghost. Yeah, this is fun. Anyway, let's go hang out at the graveyard. That's normal. Yeah. And then the ghost is like, okay, bye, I gotta go. And he's like,
oh, well, no, it gets super sad. He's like, wait, why is your hair white? What? Wait, why are you looking old? And he's like, oh, I just lived for a day. He's like, what, you're dying? You're like my only ghost friend.
Ghost friend.
You're my ghost parent. And so then he just like poofs into midair, and you're like, well, damn, that was sad. Now he's just dead. Okay. And then like the Grim Reaper shows up as you're talking like earlier.
Yeah, and that's where consumers are like, okay, we gotta go. Bye. Good luck with that. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was spooky. That guy was really creepy, and all he did was use his fingers to point, so he didn't even speak. And you're like, I hate it.
And there's like a weird black hole wormhole that we walk into, and I don't like it.
I don't like it. We could have just moved on.
And then all the rest of the time we're with this ghost, it's like dark and raining, and I'm like, this sucks. I don't like it. But Scrooge basically, again, he sees all these different characters being like, hooray for death, and this person is dead, and he's like, who could it be? Oh man, must be some jerk. I get it. The lesson is this jerk is like me, but it's not me. Is it me? I don't know. And I'm like, you're fucking dumb.
Oh my god, he needed to catch on faster. I understand it was the middle of the night. He had some bad cheese, but like, catch on faster.
How many songs do we have to sing to you for you to understand what's going on?
Paul Williams wrote like 50 songs for you to get it.
He went through rehab for you, and you can't even like freaking.
He forgot he met you in real life, and you didn't even try harder.
But that's like such a crazy
oh my
story.
God. But then you're like, okay, he's getting it because they're back in the graveyard, and he's like, oh no, don't tell me. And then I thought this was like a good question, because he's like, wait, is the future like set? Like, I'm just gonna die? Because think about that. Like, what if that was the real story?
Yeah, and then it's like, sucks.
Yeah, you're gonna die.
Also, Tiny Tim's gonna die. Somehow it's your fault. So good luck.
And then he was like, is this set in stone, or is this like what could be? And I don't know. It's like kind of interesting, because you're like, does he have the change of heart? Because is it authentic? This change of heart, this genuine change of heart, or I don't know. But he sold it to me as an actor. I felt like it was genuine.
Well, and again, this kind of shows how Scrooge is dumb, because he's asking these moral questions to the ghost that doesn't speak at all.
He got very chatty by the third ghost.
We never get the answer, but I think that's the point. And then it's back to Christmas Day, and he's alive, and he's in his canopy bed, and thank God the canopy's so close, because it's bright out there. Wow. Oh boy. And it's a fucking blizzard outside. Shit. That's a white Christmas.
But don't worry, because Kate, your favorite character, is outside to tell the day and time. Mr. Bunny, what day is it? Mr. Bunny's like, you're an idiot, sir.
Don't you own a calendar? You're like a billionaire. I don't understand. Why do you have to ask people on the street these questions?
He throws a sack of money bigger than the bunny himself and says, go get a turkey 4 times the size of this. You can carry it. Goodbye. I'm going to be a better person.
He does.
Wow. Wowie.
Which, like, I don't know how that bunny didn't die overnight, because kind of that one scene was leading me to believe that bunny was going to be fucking dead. But
Kate, we're in Hope now.
I'm sorry, we're in
the
Happy
movie
Town.
Just like goes into Hopeville, and then everything is just like extra nice, and we're skipping and we're eating and we're laughing, and the whole town is like, we don't hate you anymore, Scrooge. We were a part of all those ghost stories.
Yeah, because he says Merry Christmas. Everyone's like, you know what? That guy sounds so bad. He threw my ass out on the street yesterday, but you know what? He said hello once.
They're literally getting eviction notices today, and they're like, you know what? He said Merry Christmas. It's fine.
He said Merry Christmas. It's fucking fine. And then I do like this scene, though. He goes and he sees the charity guys, and the charity guys are like, whoa, stay back. We don't want any trouble. And Scrooge is like, I want to donate. And you're like, that's nice. And you don't actually find out how much he wants to donate, but it's allegedly a lot because he kind of whispers and they're like, that much? Wow, crazy. Like, for all we know, it was $1, and they're amazed by that from Scrooge. We don't know. We have no frame of reference. But I do love how Beaker gives his little,
his
scarf to Scrooge, and then Scrooge is like, for me? And then he's like, yeah. And he's like, no, thank you so much for this little tiny Muppet scarf that doesn't fucking Vim, and it's so nice. Wow. And I was like, I love that.
I love it.
It's so cute.
I love it so much. Very, very cute. And then he's like, townspeople, now that you like me a second later, rip up your eviction notices. I don't say that out loud. Let's assume. And come on and have a feast. We're heading to Bob's house.
He's like, we're gonna invade this tiny home. Hope we can all fit. We don't fucking know. Let's do it.
He answers the door trying to be funny by being mean and sassy. And Miss Piggy is ready to take him out. And I'm like, I am Miss Piggy. That is me.
Honestly,
I am Miss Piggy.
how fucking funny would it have been if, like, Miss Piggy, like, she did have one swing and she, like, punches him in the face and then he's like, oh, actually, now I'm nice. And here's what, like, that would have been awesome too.
I would have loved that.
I would have loved that. I feel like Michael Caine would have been able to pull that off well. But
I think so.
Nope, we don't see that because he very quickly is like, oh my god, here's all the money and also here's all these people. And I know Tiny Tim has probably an immunocompromised, system, but we're just gonna bring a lot of germs in here, so let's fucking do it. Hooray.
Also, I will say this. If anyone is a cook, they bring a raw turkey. I'm like, that's like a gift, no gift, because now she's got to cook it for 8 hours. So, and everyone's in the house. So, I mean, I hope she's got a bunch of appetizers to keep them busy because that's like 8 hours. What are they going to do?
It's just hundreds of charcuterie boards. That's probably all that was brought because I don't think there was other food in that time. Who knows? And then you see Gonzo being like narrating. He's like, and Scrooge became like a second father to Tiny Tim. And then he goes, and Tiny Tim, who did not die. And again, we get no context on why he magically is magic and alive forever now. We don't know. Was there advancements in medicine? Who the fuck cares? Because it's Christmas. We're going to sing a song together and sing.
I don't know if I cared. I don't know if I cared. I was like,
I didn't care either, honestly. It was great. It's just like kind of wholesome.
Well, that's what I mean. And I think there was this, Jim Henson died. We have to like preserve his legacy. And I think everybody was just in it. Like I didn't get the sense that, cause you know how sometimes you can watch movies and be like, this scene doesn't make sense, or this, you could tell this actor maybe hated this, or I don't know. Like you got the sense that it wasn't just all in harmony, but I felt like everybody was all in. And I don't know, Michael Caine, he, I think like led that movement. Like he really made that happen. And then I think the music did it. I think the music kind of like landed it. But they must have this formula where it's like serious. Okay, this is for kids. Let's add in something funny and silly. Serious. Let's add in something funny. And Rizzo was really the star of that. Like I thought Rizzo was the comedy.
And I am here for the food.
he's just always eating or falling, or like at one point he literally gets frozen to death and Gonzo just smacks him on a table to get all the ice out of him. Like we just keep moving.
And we're like, anyway.
Oh my god.
Moving on from there.
But Kate, watch it or don't watch it.
Absolutely watch it. I personally watch this every year and it's on Disney Plus. So, knock your socks off with that. And if you have the VHS, you can enjoy the little song that is kind of sad and gives more exposition.
And that song is called When Love Is Gone.
When Love Is Gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
I definitely say watch it, and I think you see more as an adult, but it's like great. It's not a kid's movie, it's not an adult movie, it's an everyone movie. So you're gonna like it for different reasons at different times. And just get in the Christmas spirit, folks. Just go for it.
It's in the singing and the streets and the choir. It's in the home by the fire. Something, love, something Christmas.
So, if you're sick of that song, don't worry. We're done with this movie.
Woo!
And Kate, guess what? It's my pick for the next movie.
It is. And Bridge, this will be our last week in December you are picking for. for.
Ooh, well, don't you worry, Kate, because I got a pretty much Christmas one, and we're just going to keep going, because
Okay.
it just keeps
Woo!
going and going and going and going. Now,
We love it.
this movie, I also think we watched a lot as a kid. I'm wondering
Oh.
if you were a part of the watching of it, but I'm pretty sure you were. Sometimes I don't know if it's like in the Jimmy me era or the you me era, so we're going to find out real quickly the truth on that. But
Okay.
this is 1994. This is classified as an American, Christmas comedy drama film. I think it's comedy.
Okay.
And I think at this time, this actor was somewhat popular in the 90s and is not as popular now. And I would say a lot of people maybe not love him as much now. But at this time, he was very funny. And yeah, so even if I say the title, I don't know if you're going to know this. So I'm going to say the actor with the title, and then I think you'll get it. So this it's a Disney movie, and the main character is Tim Allen, the Santa Claus.
Yeah! I freaking love Santa Claus! Oh, Tim Allen. Wait, when was the last time you watched this?
A long time ago, but like we watched this a lot as a kid. Was that you and me? Like, did we do that a lot, or was that me and Jimmy's era?
I don't know how often I watched it as a kid, but I have watched this more recently, and I think it hits different as
bad?
an adult. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh, awesome.
I can't wait to hear your take on it, especially knowing you liked it a lot when you were younger.
I just remember
this one's funny.
I just remember Tim Allen was so popular in the 90s because of the freaking show that he
Home Improvement,
and then he was in a series of movies, and
he was Woody. No, he was
Buzz
Lightyear in Toy Story.
I mean, he is somewhat a nostalgic kind of capsule in time, because I don't think he's obviously as popular now, and he's kind of, I mean, he had a stint of a lot of addiction and crazy stuff and all that, but I don't know, during this time I would say he was the Chevy Chase of the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
And so I can imagine this not landing as well, because he's a little racy.
I don't think it's him, but I think there's things in the movie that you're like, oh, okay. Where when you're a kid, you're like, ha ha ha, yeah. And then you're an adult, you're like, whoa.
Oh, really? Oh my god, yeah. I can't wait!
Oh, good pick.
Yes!
Well, Bridge, I just want to say, if there was someone who was threatening to evict you and Mose and Penny from your home that you owned, so I'm not sure how you'd get in the situation, but if that was happening, and it was Christmas, and we all sang a song about how this person sucks, I would roll up, I would dress up as a scary ghost, I would sneak into their home, and I would tell them how they better get their shit together, because people are gonna die, and they're gonna die, and everything's wrong, and you better figure it out, and then I would trick them into being a better person.
Wow, Kate.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
You would do the whole movie, 3 ghosts in one quick synopsis, basically.
Yeah, I would get possessed to be the ghosts of past or whatever, and then I would be 100 feet tall for the present, and then I wouldn't talk for the last one because I'd be tired in a robe.
Wow.
So,
well, Kate,
Bridge.
If there just so happened to be a new movie of the Muppets Christmas Carol, and they needed someone to play Rizzo the Rat, and they didn't have anyone, and there was a worldwide search to try to find the perfect person, I would record myself pitching you for possibly 4 hours and creepily making sure you got the part, and then you get to be in this as your lifelong dream as Rizzo.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's how much I love you.
Oh, I love that. Well, and listeners, if you also love supporting your siblings with their hopes and dreams and tricking old, stingy men into being better people, why haven't we done this with Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the list goes on. And if you think the Muppets are amazing, which they are, you should write us a review. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. If you scroll down on the main page, there's a form you can fill out to request a movie. So we are just getting to the end of our holiday month, the month of December, but we are obviously going to keep on trucking in January. So please, please, please go on there. Give us some recommendations. Y'all got any winter stuff? I don't know, any movies that make me feel cold?
Oh.
I don't know why I'm thinking of that,
like
but that's what my brain went
emotionally,
to.
but like cold physically.
I meant cold, like there's snow.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to make me sad too, sure, that's an option. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee.
Woo!
And then we could get, as we didn't actually talk about this Muppet, but we could get as hyper as Animal playing the drums for Fozzie's Christmas party.
Oh my god, that was great.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you gotta watch this movie, you gotta listen to this podcast, and then you gotta say, hot damn, I gotta get them some coffee. That's a lot of coffee. And guess what? I'm gonna go on this Ko-Fi site and send them some money.
Woo!
Who followed that? Anybody?
Oh boy.
Wow.
I feel like Scrooge. I'm lost. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I understand the directions. Yes. Yes, please do that. And yeah, all of those things. We hope to hear from you, listeners.
Yeah, and I can't wait to check out Tim Allen in 1994 and see what he's like as Santa Claus. And it's a lot of weird 90s men being Santa Claus, and we all just accepted it, and I'm pretty thrilled to go through this and see what happens.
Yeah, where's the lady Santa Clauses?
Yeah!
Is that a thing anywhere?
We just get Mrs. Claus, but like, why can't Mrs. Claus do cool stuff?
I don't know. I'm sure she does in some rendition, but it's probably not popular because everyone sucks, so.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm all about the lady Santa Claus.
All right, we're going to trademark that. So that'll be ours.
We have a lot of trademarks on here. I hope people actually hear
These are documented, so yeah, no stealing. All right. Well, listeners, we'll see y'all next week for Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. And Claus is spelled differently.
With an E at the end.
Like the legal clause, because there's like lawyer shit in this movie. Yeah.
Who cares? We'll see you there. Love ya.
Woo! I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.